War is a tremendous part of our history. Strategy in war is a combination of many parts, such as offensive and defensive attack, manpower, and even communication. Early ways to communicate in wars consisted of using smoke signals and sending messengers that rode on horseback. More deliberate communication was desperately needed. The push towards a visual telegraph system began. You're listening to WJHS 91.5, The Eagle. Welcome to Media in the Making, a podcast where we look at the evolution of media from 1600 all the way to present day. In this podcast series, we ask how have different forms of media evolved and changed culture. Media in the Making, where media and culture are always changing. Now let's take a step back in time. Hi, I'm Katie Bullinger, a sophomore at Eagle Tech Academy. Today I will take you back to the 18th century to discuss the impact of the visual telegraph system on war. If you succeed, you will soon bask in glory. That was the first message successfully sent through the visual telegraph system by the inventor Claude Chappe. He invented the telegraph in 1792 for the purpose of military, administrative, and stock market use. The visual telegraph resembled a tower. Each tower had a pair of telescopes and a two-armed semaphore. The semaphore's job was to create symbols that displayed a message. An operator would move the armstand crossbar to create letters. The receiver would be located at a different tower and would view the message through a telescope. Since the signals weren't actual letters, there was a codebook located at each station to decode the message when it was sent. The visual telegraph system played a huge role in communication during the French Revolution. France needed to get an edge over the 5 countries they were up against. This type of telegraph was new technology during this time period, so it made sense for the French to take advantage of its quicker and easier communication. The other countries were still spreading messages by horseback, which was way slower than the visual telegraph system. When doing a test, the first symbol of a message passed through a total of 15 stations in 9 minutes. It was common for 2 to 3 symbols to be displayed in 1 minute. The soldiers mainly used this system when wanting to discuss next moves or urgently share enemy tactics. In August 1794, the telegraph brought the news of the capture of Condé-sur-Lascaux in less than an hour to Paris. Another country that took advantage of the visual telegraph system was Sweden. They were the second country in the world to use the system. They actually made one that was faster than the one used in the French Revolution. In their country, the visual telegraph was not only used for war, but also to report the arrival of ships. Shannon Selin does a good job on describing how the visual telegraph system affects culture by saying, "When the Chappe semaphore telegraph was introduced during the French Revolution, it revolutionized communications by dramatically reducing the length of time it took for messages to travel. This system drastically impacted culture by being the first telecommunication network in Europe. The visual telegraph system even contributed to further inventions. It was the base for the idea of the wireless telegraph, the radio, and even in today's society, the cell phone. Its main purpose was to make communication more deliberate and easier for soldiers." Al Sin Chan says, "The Claude Chappe semaphore telegraph system had been in use for 61 years, being the first and largest network using optical telegraph. This system was used for over 60 years before fading away and being shadowed over new technology. Now back to the 21st century. Media in the Making is brought to you by WJHS 91.5 and the Eagle Tech Academy media classes. Media in the Making, teaching you about the evolution of media throughout history and its effects on culture. For more from the students, more podcasting series are on the 91.5 website, WJHS915.org. Thank you for joining us.